This story took place 26 years ago in 1991. I was 10 years old at that time. I had moved in a big city. Few weeks after I moved, my mother decided to visit me. One night, while we were watching TV, we were pretty bored and I had this idea to experience the Ouija board for the first time. When I think about that today, I don't even remember how I got this. I don't remember if I bought it or if it was given to me. Anyway, my mother was a little bit worried because she really believed in spirits, ghosts, demons, well, all that kind of stuff. She was afraid that the spirits or whatever we may contact that night remain in my place, but she finally accepted. So we set up the board. We didn't have any candles, but we kept the lights on. There was absolutely no question to stay in the dark. Then we start the session. Of course, we ask the usual questions like, is there any spirits here? Or is anyone want to communicate with us? But silence. Nothing was moving. We kept going for a while. No luck. We got no answers. Of course, we tried to ask the question differently, but nothing. And after maybe 20 minutes, we decided to stop. Then I put my board in the closet. So right after we finished with the Ouija board, we decided to continue to watch TV. Then we were interrupted by my phone. I told to my mother that was probably my sister since no one else had my phone number. I picked up the phone. Just to mention that it took few seconds before I could hear anything, and I heard a voice that was not ready to forget and still gives me a chill to this day. How I could describe it? I remember that this person spoke very slowly with an arch voice. Okay, you will tell me that there's nothing unusual here. That can be a old or sick person. But it's not that. The problem is the voice. That voice was distorted. At this point I was starting to think that maybe there's a problem with the line because that was so unusual the way it sounded. So I hung up since I could not understand what the person was trying to say to me. I didn't give too much attention to that and we continued to watch TV. But 10 minutes later the phone rang. Again. I answered. It took a moment before I could hear something. Then I heard the same voice. And again, he asked something that I wasn't able to understand, and I told him, "Mister, you have the wrong number." Then suddenly, he said,
"Be careful."
Oh my god, I started to freak out a little bit and then hung up. I told to my mother what he said, and the first thing she told me, oh, it's probably just a trick or kind of maniac. Okay, it's not very comforting. And I told her, yes, but the voice makes no sense. Whatever. When my mother left the city, it took a good month before I was able to sleep. Then I completely forgot the story. And I never received strange call like that again. But it's very important to mention at this point that I never made a link between the Ouija board and what has just happened. Until 4 or 5 years later, where some of my friends decided to move in the city also. They invited me for a party not a long time after. That went well. And at the end of the night, they decided to play with the Ouija board. We were a lot, so We couldn't be all around the table, so some of them were sit on a couch. There was some in the kitchen, and for the rest of us, 5 or 6 people around the planchette. I can say we played maybe around a good 45 minutes to 1 hour, kinda. During that time, well, the planchette moved, but I suspected my best friend boyfriend to moving it. But I didn't say anything, I just let it go. Then I returned home. 2 days later, my best friend called me. We talked about the party and she said that his boyfriend admitted that he moved the planchette the whole time. Well, I told her that I knew already and it's okay, people were just so messed up and it's fine. And she added, there's something else. I said, what? She told me, yesterday I heard footsteps in the hallway. I said, okay. And she said, but I was alone. There was no one else in the apartment. And that was loud enough, like if that was close of me. Okay, so what are you telling me exactly? She said, I don't know. Maybe something left from that board yesterday and followed us at home. Because my boyfriend was missing so much yesterday, I don't know what to think. Well, it stayed like that and we never talk about it anymore. That was so strange. It took a long time before I used the Ouija board again. Not because I was scared, but I just forgot it. So the next time I played, it was last year, 2016. So 20 years after the last time. I read a lot on this from the internet. I checked all the rules. And from my own initiative, I decided to invite some people to give a serious try. And the people I invited never played. They were scared and intrigued at the same time. That was interesting. We set up the table with candles. We haven't put music, classic music. We were 4 people only when we started because not all of people were arrived yet, so we decided to start anyway. Naturally, people were joking, laughing, so it didn't work from the beginning. To resume quickly, we contacted 2 spirits. The first one was a UK soldier who died during World War One. I don't remember the name, but I think he said he was 28 years old when he died. And I don't remember exactly the name of the second spirit, but it's not what I want to talk about. People left around 10 p.m. I slept well, but the day after, I was alone in my apartment. I remember that was a sunny day in the afternoon. I was playing video game, I was playing Warcraft, I was doing PvP, so I was very concentrated with all the sounds from the game. And I had music too. And suddenly through my gaming headset, I heard a loud bang coming from my kitchen. I just dropped my headset on my desk and I stand up to listen if I could hear something else. Nothing more. So I reached my office door and took a look to the kitchen that I could see at the end of the hallway. That was a huge apartment. I know it's coming from the kitchen because all the doors from the others' rooms was closed. I walked slowly to the kitchen and tried to see if someone could have been entered by the kitchen by door. I arrived to the kitchen, there was nothing. And I tried to figure out. I checked all around if it could come from dishes, plates, who fell somehow. But I remember the sound like metal. And the only thing metal in my kitchen is my trash bin. I took a look on it, nothing unusual. I kicked it. Okay, it maybe sound like if someone kicked my trash can, but I can't imagine how hard we have to kick that trash can to produce that sound. Jeez. And I thought about the Ouija board session from the previous night, and I thought to myself, is that something to do with it? I don't know, I wasn't convinced, but it's weird. My last experience with the Ouija board was recently, meaning January 2017. I played and it didn't work. And the following night, I was sleeping and around 2 a.m. I woke up to the sound of footsteps from the apartment upstairs. That was like if someone was wearing heavy boots. That was so loud I could hear it through my earplugs. I sat over the bed and removed my earplugs for a moment, and the footsteps kept going for at least another 20 seconds. Then it stopped, and I returned to bed without thinking any much of it. And it's really only at the morning, when I was preparing myself for the work, I realized that my neighbor who's living upstairs and alone in fact, didn't come to his apartment since at least 3 weeks. How I know that? Well, first, I didn't heard anything during these 3 weeks. I mean, I don't hear floor cracking, door opening, shower. I'm living in an old house, by the way, so if he's there, I just know. And in more, all his mails was on the floor in the entrance of the building. And he had a lot. So, if he was there, he was probably picked them up, right? That makes sense. As you can see, this 4 experience with the Ouija board resulted with some strange stuff happening not necessarily during, but after playing. What does that mean? Does that mean that sometimes it works on delay? Meaning when you call something it's not necessarily communicate or manifest itself at the second you ask for? And take more time to manifest? If the Ouija board is working, is that possible also that the manifestation can be extended over time?